If you stand on the Johor-Singapore Causeway and look across the water, it's hard to tell where one country ends and the other begins. The cars, the food, the languages, even the jokes, they all sound familiar. Singapore and Malaysia may be two separate nations today, but beneath the borders, history, and politics, they share a heartbeat that still beats in rhythm. Let's uncover the powerful similarities that tie these two nations together in culture, spirit, and everyday life. 1. A shared birth and a shared history. Before passports, fences, and border control, Singapore and Malaysia shared one destiny. Their histories are tightly woven, shaped by centuries of migration, trade, and British colonial influence. In 1963, Singapore joined the Federation of Malaysia, hoping for unity and strength under one flag. For 2 years, they shared everything: a government, a currency, and even a dream of nationhood. Yet political and economic tensions surfaced, leading to Singapore's separation in 1965. But that moment wasn't a bitter breakup. It was a turning point that allowed both to grow in their own ways while keeping the same roots. Even earlier, both lands were molded under British rule, which introduced English as a common language, a parliamentary democracy, and the foundation of their legal systems. Schools, infrastructure, and trade networks were built under the same colonial blueprint. That's why today, both nations still drive on the left, use English in government and business, and practice the same style of governance rooted in British order and efficiency. Their histories may have diverged politically, but their foundations remain nearly identical: a shared legacy of law, language, and lifestyle. The colonial past might belong to another era, but it left behind a blueprint that still guides both nations today. In truth, Singapore and Malaysia didn't just start together. They grew from the same seed, two branches of one historical tree that continue to reach for success side by side. Two multicultural DNA, Singapore and Malaysia, share a rare and beautiful DNA, one made of many colors, languages, and traditions woven into a single fabric. Step into Kuala Lumpur's bustling streets or Singapore's vibrant Little India, and you'll instantly feel it: a symphony of cultures living side by side. Here, Malay, Chinese, Indian, and Eurasian influences don't just coexist, they blend seamlessly into daily life. In both nations, it's common to hear a conversation that flows from English to Malay to Mandarin, all within seconds. This linguistic harmony mirrors a deeper unity, one built on generations of migration, trade, and shared dreams. Festivals are celebrated not just by their communities, but by everyone. Hari Raya brings families of all backgrounds together for open houses. Chinese New Year paints both nations in red and gold, while Deepavali and Christmas light up the streets with joy. This multiculturalism isn't just a coincidence. It's carefully nurtured. Both governments have long promoted racial harmony, social cohesion, and mutual respect through education, housing policies, and public celebrations. These efforts ensure that diversity strengthens, not divides. Whether you're savoring nasi lemak in Johor Bahru or chicken rice in Singapore, the flavors tell the same story: unity through diversity. In both nations, identity isn't defined by race or religion, but by a shared belief that peace, respect, and understanding can turn many cultures into one nation. That's the true heart of their multicultural DNA. 3. Food that speaks the same language. If there's one universal truth between Singapore and Malaysia, it's this: food is not just a meal, it's an emotion. Across both nations, food binds people tighter than politics ever could. From bustling hawker stalls to late-night mama joints, the aroma of fried noodles, curry, and grilled satay fills the air, carrying the same comforting familiarity. Chicken rice, nasi lemak, laksa, char kway teow, and roti canai. These dishes speak a shared culinary language that neither side can truly claim as their own. Their origins tell the story of centuries of migration and mingling. Chinese immigrants brought their noodles and wok techniques, Indians brought spice and richness, while Malays infused everything with tradition and heart. The result? A melting pot of flavors that reflects the very soul of both countries: diverse, balanced, and deeply human. In both Singapore and Malaysia, food is more than sustenance. It's storytelling. It's where families gather after work, friends reconnect over kopi or tatarik, and strangers share a table in crowded hawker centers without hesitation. Each meal is a reminder that beneath the surface, their taste buds remember the same past. Even the friendly debates, who made it first, show love, not rivalry. Because whether you're eating in Kuala Lumpur or Singapore's Geylang, the message is the same. Food is culture, food is connection, and most of all, food is love. One recipe shared by two nations with one heart. 4. Language and humor. That sound, alike language, is one of the clearest mirrors of how closely Singapore and Malaysia are connected. Listen to a conversation on the streets of Kuala Lumpur or at a coffee shop in Singapore, and you'll hear the same familiar melody, a mix of English, Malay, Mandarin, and Tamil, seasoned with humor and heart. Singlish and Manglish, their beloved colloquial languages, are almost identical twins born from the same cultural melting pot. They bend grammar, mix vocabularies, and break formal rules. Yet they communicate warmth, personality, and community better than any textbook ever could. The secret is in the la, lea, and ma, little words that carry big emotions. They soften instructions, express sarcasm, or simply make sentences feel more human. These speech patterns evolved naturally as different ethnic groups tried to understand one another, creating a language that doesn't just translate words but emotions too. And then there's the humor. Both Singaporeans and Malaysians share a quick wit and a love for teasing, never harsh, always affectionate. They laugh at traffic jams, politics, food rivalries, and even themselves. It's a humor born from shared struggles and shared triumphs, the kind that builds connection instead of division. For outsiders, their speech may sound confusing, but for locals, it's music, a shared rhythm that says, we're different, but we understand each other perfectly. That's the beauty of their language and humor. Familiar, playful, and unmistakably Southeast Asian. 5. Religion and respect. Religion in Singapore and Malaysia isn't just a belief system. It's part of daily life, woven into the rhythm of their societies. Both nations are living examples of how faith can unite rather than divide. In Malaysia, Islam stands as the official religion, shaping national identity and culture. Yet churches, Hindu temples, Buddhist shrines, and Sikh gurdwaras flourish freely across the country. Singapore, while secular, mirrors this spirit. Its Malay Muslim community practices alongside Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, and others, with equal respect and protection under the law. What's truly remarkable is how naturally this harmony exists. In both nations, it's common to see a mosque beside a temple or a church a few steps away, symbols of peaceful coexistence built over generations. The call to prayer might echo in the same neighborhood where temple bells ring or Sunday hymns play. To locals, this isn't strange. It's simply home. Respect for every faith is taught early, not just as a rule, but as a value. Schools educate children about major religious festivals, workplaces adapt to prayer times, and government calendars include holidays for Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, and Buddhism alike. While many parts of the world struggle with religious division, Singapore and Malaysia prove that diversity can breed unity. Their shared strength lies in quiet understanding. That peace isn't about sameness, but about honoring each other's beliefs and living together with grace, respect, and acceptance. 6. Asian values in a modern world. In both Singapore and Malaysia, progress has never meant abandoning tradition. Beneath the glass towers and modern skylines lies a deep foundation built on timeless Asian values: discipline, hard work, family, and respect for elders. These values shape not only homes but also workplaces, schools, and the way people interact daily. In both nations, families remain the heart of society. It's common to see 3 generations under one roof: grandparents passing down wisdom, parents working tirelessly to provide stability, and children taught from a young age to respect and care for their elders. Even in busy city life, the family dinner table remains sacred, a place where gratitude, humility, and unity are reinforced. Order and social harmony are also prized. Rules are respected not out of fear, but out of an understanding that community well-being matters more than individual convenience. This shared discipline shows in clean cities, safe neighborhoods, and efficient systems that work because people cooperate rather than rebel. At the same time, both Singapore and Malaysia embrace ambition and innovation. They've adapted to globalization without losing their moral compass. This unique balance, modern thinking rooted in ancient values, has become their strength. It's why both societies continue to prosper. They move with the times but never drift from their roots. In a changing world, these Asian values remain their compass, guiding progress with humility and heart. 7. Economic interdependence. Singapore and Malaysia may stand as two sovereign nations, but economically, they move in perfect rhythm, like two gears turning the same engine. Their relationship is a model of interdependence built on practicality, trust, and shared benefit. Every day, the Johor-Singapore Causeway becomes one of the busiest borders in the world, as more than 350,000 Malaysians cross into Singapore to work. These commuters power essential sectors like healthcare, construction, manufacturing, and hospitality, forming the invisible backbone of Singapore's daily economy. In return, Singapore's investments in Malaysia run deep, from industrial parks in Johor to high-tech hubs and real estate developments across Penang and Kuala Lumpur. Singaporean companies help drive Malaysia's growth. The partnership extends beyond business. It includes trade in food, energy, and especially water, which has bound the two nations together through long-standing agreements and mutual reliance. Tourism adds another bridge. Malaysians flock to Singapore for entertainment and shopping, while Singaporeans cross over for weekend getaways, food, and family visits. Money, ideas, and people move freely between the two, creating a shared ecosystem where prosperity flows in both directions. While other regions struggle with rivalry, Singapore and Malaysia have mastered balance. Competition without hostility, independence without isolation. Their economic partnership proves that cooperation, not conflict, brings progress. In essence, they're two nations, one economy, partners in success whose fortunes rise and fall together, powered by geography, history, and an enduring sense of mutual benefit. 8. Education and excellence. Education has always been at the heart of both Singapore's and Malaysia's national identity. From the early days of British mission schools to today's world-class universities, both nations have treated learning as the most powerful path to progress. Education isn't just about grades. It's a deeply rooted belief that knowledge shapes destiny, opens doors, and uplifts families for generations. Their school systems share many similarities. They are multilingual, merit-based, and disciplined. English remains the main medium of instruction, but students also learn their mother tongues, Malay, Mandarin, or Tamil, preserving cultural identity while embracing global relevance. Both countries have rigorous curricula that emphasize mathematics, science, and technology, reflecting the region's commitment to excellence and precision. Singapore's system is often lauded for its global ranking, but Malaysia's education framework shares the same philosophy: to nurture disciplined, forward-thinking citizens who can compete internationally. In fact, many Malaysians cross the causeway to study or work in Singapore, while Singaporean educators and investors contribute to Malaysia's educational development through collaborations and institutions. This constant exchange of students, teachers, and ideas forms a bridge of ambition that keeps both nations intellectually connected. Whether in Singapore's lecture halls or Malaysia's research labs, the same drive burns bright: a shared belief that education is not just a personal achievement, but a duty to one's family and nation. It's this collective hunger for excellence that keeps both countries advancing, side by side. 9. Love for order, cleanliness, and efficiency. Cleanliness and order are more than habits in Singapore and Malaysia. They are reflections of shared values that define how both societies view progress and pride. Take a walk through Penang's colonial streets or Singapore's immaculate Chinatown, and you'll see the same commitment to beauty, structure, and respect for public space. Both nations understand that order is not just about rules, it's about mutual respect, about caring for the spaces everyone shares. Singapore is often celebrated for its near-perfect systems, spotless MRT stations, manicured parks, and a no-nonsense approach to littering. Yet Malaysia carries the same spirit, even if expressed more loosely, from the tidy sidewalks of Putrajaya to the well-maintained gardens of Penang. These aren't accidents. They stem from an upbringing that teaches people to value community harmony over personal convenience. In both countries, queuing patiently, keeping noise down, and maintaining cleanliness are seen as marks of civilization. It's an unspoken social contract. Everyone plays their part so society can function smoothly. This discipline, fused with warmth, blends Eastern respect with Western-style efficiency, creating a rare balance few nations achieve. While other societies wrestle with disorder, Singapore and Malaysia thrive on quiet orderliness, not as a form of control, but as a way of showing dignity and care for one another. Their shared love for order reflects something deeper, the belief that a well-kept environment mirrors a well-kept soul, and that true progress begins with self-respect. 10. Shared entertainment and pop culture. Entertainment and pop culture form another strong bridge between Singapore and Malaysia, one that transcends politics, borders, and accents. Whether it's the latest hit song, a viral TikTok trend, or a blockbuster drama, the two nations move to the same cultural rhythm. Turn on the radio in either country, and you'll hear the same mix of Malay pop, Mandarin ballads, and English hits, a reflection of their shared multilingual and multicultural roots. Their entertainment industries are deeply intertwined. Malaysian singers like Siti Nurhaliza, Fish Leong, and Z Avi have captivated Singaporean audiences, while Singaporean talents such as JJ Lin and Nathan Hartono enjoy loyal fans across Malaysia. Comedy tours, concerts, and theater productions flow freely across the border, often selling out because the humor, the slang, and the emotions are instantly understood on both sides. Even the film and television industries collaborate seamlessly. Joint productions capture everyday Southeast Asian life, family ties, social humor, and moral lessons that both nations cherish. Platforms like YouTube and Netflix have only deepened this connection, with creators from both countries sharing similar stories, jokes, and perspectives that resonate across generations. It's not just entertainment, it's shared identity. Singapore and Malaysia laugh at the same jokes, cry over the same dramas, and sing the same love songs. Their pop culture is proof that while borders may separate geography, they cannot divide hearts that beat to the same rhythm of humor, passion, and creativity. 11. Geography and climate. Singapore and Malaysia share more than just proximity. They share the same land, air, and rhythm of nature. Separated only by the narrow Johor Strait, the two nations are like reflections of each other, joined by bridges that span more than geography. They span history and life itself. Their climate is identical, hot, humid, and tropical all year round, with bursts of rain that arrive unannounced and sunshine that returns just as quickly. The same monsoon winds sweep through both lands, the same thunderstorms rumble across their skies, and the same sea breeze cools their coastal towns. Nature pays no attention to borders. The wildlife of Johor and Singapore moves as if the strait doesn't exist. Macaques chatter in both forests, hornbills glide freely, and monitor lizards bask by the same mangroves. Even the vegetation, coconut palms, rubber trees, orchids, thrives equally on both sides, nourished by the same equatorial soil. Their geographical closeness has also shaped their cultures and economies. Trade routes, fishing waters, and travel paths have intertwined for centuries, making the two countries natural partners. The Causeway may divide them politically, but ecologically and geographically, they remain one continuous ecosystem. When you stand at the border and watch the tides flow between them, it's a gentle reminder that nature doesn't draw lines. Humans do. And in that shared environment lies a quiet truth. Singapore and Malaysia may be two nations, but they still breathe the same tropical air, under the same boundless sky. 12. Architecture and urban spirit. Architecture tells a nation's story, and in Singapore and Malaysia, that story reads almost the same. Walk through Georgetown in Penang or Chinatown in Singapore, and you'll see identical rows of shop houses, narrow, colorful, and full of character. These buildings, born from southern Chinese design and shaped by British colonial architecture, blend east and west in perfect harmony. Their tiled roofs, wooden shutters, and arched corridors speak of a shared past, where merchants, migrants, and families built lives side by side. But while their roots are historical, their skylines are futuristic. Kuala Lumpur's Petronas Twin Towers and Singapore's Marina Bay Sands may differ in design, yet they both symbolize the same story. Nations that transform from colonial ports into modern global powerhouses. Both countries have mastered the art of balancing progress with preservation. Ancient temples, mosques, and heritage streets stand proudly beside glass skyscrapers and high-speed trains, proving that tradition and technology can coexist beautifully. Beneath this architectural grandeur lies something deeper, the heartbeat of community. Street markets, night bazaars, and hawker centers bring people together the way they always have. Whether it's Penang's Gurney Drive or Singapore's Lau Pa Sat, the blend of smells, sounds, and smiles feels the same. Their cities may evolve, but their soul remains unchanged, a shared urban spirit built on history, diversity, and an unspoken pride in creating modernity without losing humanity. 13. The shared spirit of resilience. Resilience is the invisible thread that connects Singapore and Malaysia, a shared strength forged through struggle, scarcity, and determination. Neither country had an easy beginning. Singapore, once dismissed as a tiny island with no natural resources, faced the daunting task of surviving after separation in 1965. Malaysia, on the other hand, inherited vast diversity, ethnic, cultural, and economic, that many thought would divide rather than unite. Yet both nations turned their supposed disadvantages into their greatest assets. Singapore built an economy on ingenuity, efficiency, and human talent. With no oil, no minerals, and barely any land, it focused on education, technology, and trade, proving that discipline and innovation could replace natural wealth. Malaysia, blessed with resources but burdened by complexity, learned to manage its diversity and transform it into strength. It became a leader in palm oil, manufacturing, and tourism, showing the world that multiculturalism can fuel progress rather than hinder it. This shared spirit of resilience runs deep in their people. Singaporeans and Malaysians don't dramatize hardship. They face it head-on, adapt, and move forward. Whether it's rebuilding after economic downturns or recovering from crises, both societies respond with quiet determination rather than complaint. Meet anyone from either nation, and you'll feel it. A humble pride rooted in survival, self-belief, and progress. It's not loud or flashy, but powerful and enduring. That's the essence of their shared resilience. Strength wrapped in humility, born from knowing how far they've come. 14. Similar work culture. Singapore and Malaysia share a remarkably similar work culture, one that blends discipline with humanity. In both countries, professionalism doesn't mean cold formality. It means respect, reliability, and relationships. Offices in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore City operate on the same rhythm. Meetings start on time, deadlines are honored, and teamwork is prized over individual glory. Punctuality isn't just a habit, it's a form of respect for others' time. Hierarchy plays an important role, but it's balanced with warmth. Employees address superiors politely, yet the workplace often feels like an extended family. After a long day, colleagues share meals at nearby food courts or mamak stalls, bonding over laughter and local dishes. This balance between structure and friendliness is a hallmark of both nations' work environments. Business relationships, too, are built on trust and familiarity. Deals are rarely sealed by signatures alone. They're cemented through genuine conversation and shared meals. It's not uncommon for clients to become friends and coworkers to become like family. In both societies, success is measured not just in profits or promotions, but in maintaining harmony and respect. People work hard, but they value peace at work even more. The result is a culture where efficiency meets empathy, where professionalism walks hand in hand with kindness. Singapore and Malaysia may compete economically, but when it comes to work ethic and values, they move to the same beat: precise, polite, and profoundly human. 15. Tourism and shared wonders. Tourism is one of the most visible and joyful ways Singapore and Malaysia stay connected. Despite being separate nations, the flow of travelers between them never stops. It's like an unspoken tradition that keeps their friendship alive. Every weekend, you'll find thousands of Singaporeans crossing the Causeway for short getaways in Malaysia, exploring Penang's street food, relaxing on Langkawi's beaches, hiking Mount Kinabalu, or simply enjoying affordable shopping and spa retreats. For them, Malaysia offers space, flavor, and variety, a refreshing escape that still feels like home. At the same time, Malaysians love visiting Singapore for its world-class attractions, Universal Studios, Marina Bay Sands, Gardens by the Bay, and the spectacular night skyline that defines the Lion City. Concerts, exhibitions, and international events in Singapore draw huge Malaysian crowds, making the two-way tourism traffic lively and constant. Even their tourism campaigns reflect the same vision. Malaysia's Truly Asia celebrates its cultural diversity, while Singapore's Passion Made Possible highlights ambition and experience. Together, they represent two sides of Southeast Asia's charm, one warm and vibrant, the other modern and inspiring. At heart, tourism between the two isn't about distance, it's about connection. You'll see Singaporean cars parked along Malacca's Jonker Street and Malaysians posing by the Merlion, both smiling the same way. Every border crossing tells a simple truth. Friendship, curiosity, and shared wonder are what keep these neighbors forever close. 16. Political parallels. Singapore and Malaysia may operate under different political systems, but their leadership philosophies share striking similarities. Both nations were guided by visionary leaders who understood that young, diverse countries could not afford instability. In Malaysia, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad steered the nation with pragmatism and boldness, focusing on modernization and national unity. In Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew charted a disciplined, strategic path that transformed a small island with no resources into a global powerhouse. Though their styles differed, their core principles were nearly identical: order before chaos, discipline before politics, and planning before popularity. Both governments have long prioritized stability and long-term growth over short-term political gain. National interest comes before individual ambition, and continuity in governance ensures consistent progress. In both Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, policies are designed with the future in mind, focusing on education, technology, housing, and infrastructure that benefit generations, not election cycles. This cautious yet visionary approach has made both nations pillars of consistency in an often unpredictable region. While many countries swing between extremes, Singapore and Malaysia remain anchored by pragmatism, respect for authority, and a shared belief that leadership means service, not spectacle. Their political parallel is not coincidence, it's cultural. Both societies value calm, competence, and long-term vision. That mindset has kept them resilient through global crises, proving that strength in governance doesn't come from noise, but from quiet, steady hands steering the nation forward. 17. The common kampung spirit. In both Singapore and Malaysia, the phrase kampung spirit carries a special meaning, a reminder of the old village way of life where everyone looked out for each other. Before skyscrapers and highways, both nations were made up of small communities, kampungs, where doors were never locked, meals were shared, and news traveled faster than phones. When one family celebrated, the whole neighborhood joined in. When someone fell ill, others brought porridge, medicine, and comfort. That deep sense of togetherness became the moral foundation of both societies. What makes Singapore and Malaysia remarkable is how that same kampung spirit still survives, even in the middle of urban life. In Singapore, neighbors exchange festive treats during Hari Raya, Deepavali, or Chinese New Year, and residents' committees organize block parties that keep bonds alive. In Malaysia, open houses during celebrations are national traditions, where anyone, regardless of race or religion, is welcomed with food and laughter. Even in the digital age, the spirit has evolved but not disappeared. Community WhatsApp groups, Charity drives and neighborhood support networks continue the same legacy, helping one another without expecting reward. The kampung spirit is proof that progress hasn't erased kindness. Beneath the modern pace of both nations lies a timeless heart, one that values compassion over convenience and people over profit. It's the unspoken bond that reminds everyone we rise faster and stronger when we rise together. 18. Shared challenges. For all their shared strengths, Singapore and Malaysia also walk side by side through similar challenges. Progress has brought prosperity, but also pressure. Both nations face the realities of aging populations, where healthcare demands are rising and younger generations must shoulder more responsibility for their elders. Urban life has grown expensive. Housing costs, traffic congestion, and the high cost of living are common topics of discussion in both Kuala Lumpur and Singapore City. Balancing multicultural harmony is another shared test. With diverse ethnic and religious groups, both governments constantly work to ensure fairness, unity, and representation, a delicate balance that requires patience and empathy. Add to that the growing threats of climate change, rising sea levels, flash floods, and extreme weather. And both nations know that adaptation is no longer optional, but essential. Yet what sets them apart from many others is how they confront these issues, not with rivalry, but with cooperation. Joint projects like cross-border economic zones, shared transportation links, and environmental initiatives show their pragmatic approach. Whether it's managing water resources or improving connectivity, both sides understand that shared problems need shared solutions. Their ability to face difficulties calmly, without political drama or hostility, reflects a rare kind of maturity. It's proof that true progress isn't about avoiding problems, but solving them together, with foresight, respect, and the quiet confidence that unity always works better than division. 19. The human connection. Every sunrise, a river of cars and motorcycles flows across the Causeway. Malaysians heading into Singapore for work, study, or opportunity. And when the day ends, that same river flows back, filled with weary smiles, honking horns, and quiet conversations. It's more than just a daily commute. It's a living symbol of connection, sacrifice, and love. These journeys aren't just about jobs, they're about family. Across the narrow strait, countless families remain intertwined. A cousin lives in Johor Bahru, a sibling in Woodlands, an aunt in Kuala Lumpur, and a nephew in Singapore's Yishun. Yet they stay bonded by WhatsApp messages, weekend visits, and holiday reunions. During festive seasons like Hari Raya, Chinese New Year, and Deepavali, the bridge becomes a road of joy. Families reuniting, carrying gifts, laughter, and stories across borders. This connection runs deeper than economics or geography. It's about shared roots and human warmth, a reminder that borders drawn by politics can't divide hearts shaped by history. For many, Singapore and Malaysia aren't foreign lands, they're extensions of home. At the border, amid the traffic and tension, there's also patience and pride. People who know that every crossing represents love, responsibility, and perseverance. Their stories form the emotional heartbeat of both nations, proving that while governments may separate nations, the people keep them united through the simple, enduring power of human connection. 20. Two nations, one heart. Singapore and Malaysia may stand as two nations today, but at heart, they remain one family, bound by history, language, and spirit. Their paths have diverged, yet their roots still grow from the same soil. The same songs echo in their festivals, the same spices flavor their kitchens, and the same laughter fills their gatherings. Walk through Kuala Lumpur or Singapore, and you'll feel it. That familiar blend of warmth, wit, and resilience that defines both peoples. When Singapore celebrates its success, Malaysia feels proud. And when Malaysia rises, Singapore applauds. It's not rivalry, it's reflection. Each country a mirror showing the other how far they've come. They share more than just geography, they share soul, the same rhythm of life, shaped by hard work, family, and a deep sense of belonging. In a world that often divides, Singapore and Malaysia stand as proof that differences don't have to create distance. Their friendship shows that borders may separate governments, but they can't separate hearts. Their connection lives on in food shared across tables, jokes exchanged across accents, and memories passed across generations. Together, they remind the world that true kinship goes beyond maps and flags. It lives in the everyday, in laughter, loyalty, and love. Two nations, yes, but still one heart, beating proudly across the causeway, united by history and a bond that time will never break. Final thoughts. The next time someone asks what truly connects Singapore and Malaysia, don't stop at the obvious answers: food, festivals, or language. Go deeper. Tell them it's about two nations that share the same heartbeat, shaped by the same struggles, and inspired by the same hopes. They are two dreams born from one history, growing, adapting, and thriving together in their own ways, yet never forgetting where they began. Their unity today isn't defined by politics or treaties. It's something far more enduring. It lives in their people, in the warmth of their hospitality, in the laughter that sounds the same on both sides of the causeway. It's in the way they celebrate each other's success, mourn each other's losses, and still find joy in teasing like siblings who know they'll always be family. Borders may mark the land, but they can't divide spirit. Singapore and Malaysia prove that real connection doesn't fade with time. It matures. It turns into quiet respect, shared pride, and mutual understanding. So when you look at these two nations, don't see separation, see reflection. Two stories, one origin. Two homes, one heart. Because sometimes the strongest bonds aren't written in law or politics. They're written in the shared soul of a people who never stopped caring for each other.